generally considered to be very unpopular within Iran. I wonder if you could talk about whether the US should adopt a policy of regime change in Iran by the Iranian people. And if so, what should we be doing to support the Iranian opposition more to make that happen?
So from my perspective, first, the internal dynamics in Iran are complicated, and we're, in many ways, not necessarily the best source of a clear view on that, precisely because we, of course, don't have diplomatic relations. We've been disengaged, and I think there'd be a certain amount of pretense in saying that we know exactly what the dynamics are inside Iran. Of course, we get as much information as we can. We have friends and partners who do have a clear and better understanding. We put all of that together. As I see it, I think the country is very divided. I think what you've described certainly is reflective of at least half the population, but not the entirety of it. And there are profound differences, as you know, between urban and rural. There's a very conservative element in Iran that's significant in number that probably remains beholden to the regime. So I don't think it's quite as clear-cut as that. But there's no doubt that a large percentage of people want a different future for their country. There's no doubt that that different future would be better for everyone. So the question is, what, if anything, can we do to advance that? I think if we look at the last 20 years, our experiments in regime change have not exactly been resounding successes. So I think we have to be have an appropriate degree of humility in focusing in that way on a problem, but focusing on everything we need to do to effectuate policy change, to stop the country from doing things that are threats to our interests, as well as threats to our values. That, yes, has to be front and center. And we have clear security threats emanating from Iran, and we have clear values threats emanating from Iran. What we've tried to do at different points in time is, to the best of our ability, further empower people inside Iran who want a different future for the country, to be able to communicate, to be able to stand up, to be able to have some resources to do that. But I'll be the first to acknowledge it's really hard to do from the outside. I think what's most likely to succeed, ultimately, is even more of the Iranian people deciding that the direction, the governance of their country is not delivering for them the results that they want, the future that they want. And at some point, that will, I think, reorient the course of the country. From my perspective at least, and from my own experience, I think that's hard to engineer from the outside, and you inevitably end up with unintended consequences, second and third order effects that you got to be very careful about. So I think we have to keep standing up for what we believe in. We have to keep standing strongly against manifestations of Iranian behavior that run counter to our interests or the interests of our allies and partners. We have to stand strongly with those in Iran who want a different future. But I'd be very wary about trying to engineer anything from the outside.
Don't miss out. Log on to oneindia.com for more updates.